Hello students, my name is Mustaiz Alam, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Nandlal Singh College, Daudpur. Today we will read about elasticity of demand. Meaning of elasticity of demand? Demand extends or contracts respectively with a fall or rise in price. This quality of demand, by virtue of which it changes, increases or decreases. When price changes, decreases or increases, is called elasticity of demand. Dr. Marshall has defined elasticity of demand in such a way. The elasticity or responsiveness of demand in a market is great or small according as the amount demanded increases much or little for a given fall in price and diminishes much or little for a given rise in price. Elasticity means sensitiveness or responsiveness of demand to the change in price. This change, sensitiveness or responsiveness, may be small or great. Take the case of salt. Even a big fall in its price may not induce an appreciable extension in its demand. On the other hand, a slight fall in the price of oranges may cause a considerable extension in their demand. That is why we say that the demand in the former case is inelastic and in the latter case is elastic. Degree of elasticity of demand. Elastic and inelastic demand. For example, a decline of 1% in price leads to 8% increase in quantity demanded of a commodity. In such a case, demand is said to be elastic. There are other products where the quantity demanded is relatively unresponsive to price changes. A decline of 8% price, for example, gives rise to 1% increase in quantity demanded. Demand here is said to be inelastic. The term elastic and inelastic demand do not indicate the degree of responsiveness and unresponsiveness of the quantity demanded to a change in price. The economist therefore group various degrees of elasticity of demand into five categories. Number 1, perfectly elastic demand. A demand is perfectly to zero. Perfect elasticity implies that individual producers can sell all they want at a ruling price but cannot charge a higher price. If any producer tries to charge even one penny more, no one would buy his product. People would prefer to buy from another producer who sells the good at the prevailing market price of $4 per unit. A perfect elastic demand is illustrated in figure 1. Figure 1 suggests here it shows that demand curve DD is a horizontal line which indicates that the quantity demanded extremely infinitely response to price. Even a slight rise in price, say $4.02, drops the quantity demanded of a good to zero. The curve DD is inelastic, infinitely elastic. This elasticity of demand as such is equal to infinity. Number 2, perfectly inelastic demand. When the quantity demanded of a good does not change at all to whatever change in price, the demand is said to be perfectly inelastic or the elasticity of demand is zero. Figure 2 illustrates such a case. In figure 2, a rise in price from OA to OC or fall in price from OC to OA causes no change, zero responsiveness in the amount demanded. Number 3, unitary elasticity of demand. When the quantity demanded of a good changes by exactly the same percentage as price, the demand is said to have a unitary elasticity. One or a 1% change in price causes a response of exactly a 1% change in the quantity demanded. The figure illustrates such a case. In the figure 3, DD demand curve with a unitary elasticity shows that as the price falls from OA to OC, the quantity demanded increases from OB to OD. On DD demand curve, the percentage change in price brings about an exactly equal percentage in quantity at all points A, B. The demand curve of elasticity is therefore a rectangular hyperbola. Number 4. Elastic demand. If 1 percentage change in price causes greater than 1 percentage change in quantity demanded of a good, the demand is said to be elastic. Alternatively, we can say that the elasticity of demand is greater than 1. In figure 4, DD demand curve is relatively elastic along its entire length. As the price falls from OA to OC, the demand of the goods extends from OB to ON. That is, the increase in quantity demanded is more than proportionate to the fall in price. Number 5. Inelastic demand. When a change in price causes a less than a proportionate change in quantity demand is said to be inelastic. The elasticity of good is here less than 1 or less than unity. For example, a 30% change in price leads to 10% change in quantity demanded of a good. Then in figure 6 point in figure 5, DD demand curve is relatively inelastic. As the price falls from OA to OC, the quantity demanded of good increases from OB to ON units. The increase in quantity demanded is here less than proportionate to the fall in price. It may here note that the slope of demand curve is not reliable indicator of elasticity. A flat slope of the demand curve must not mean elastic demand. Similarly, a steep slope on demand curve must not necessarily mean inelastic demand. The reason is that the slope is expressed in terms of units of the problem. If we change the units of problem, we can get a different slope of the demand curve. The elasticity, on the other hand, is the percentage change in quantity demanded to the corresponding percentage change in price. Thank you.